Hello people, my name is Rage, and welcome one and all to War of the Vikings. Let us find out if it is indeed worth the price. This game is the spiritual successor, though more side grade, but in my opinion an upgrade to War of the Roses by Fat Shark and Paradox Interactive. Now before we begin, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. He's called Terrence the elephant, and we're going to be blowing his trump. That's not the best way to... We'll cut that out. We will cut that out. And in order to do that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be showing you some gameplay in the background while I wax lyrical, because that's more entertaining than looking at this quite fancy menu screen. I think you will agree in but a moment. Okie dokie then, ladies and gentlemen, while you enjoy some skulls being cleaved in twain in the background, let me tattle you a tale. I have quite a good relationship with Paradox Interactive. They've flown me out to various events, and I have a lot of respect for all of the guys there. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because you may think because of that, I'm going to have a sort of biased or skewed opinion on games they've had a hand in, and while on a subconscious level that's almost impossible to avoid, I just want to assure you that I'm going to try and remain neutral in the proceedings, as I try and do in every single WTP/D. Awesome. I just always think it's better to disclose things like that. Yes, indeed. So, to Terrence the elephant. Well, you may have guessed it is, of course, Chivalry. Now, back when it was just War of the Roses versus Chivalry, in my opinion, it was really no contest. War of the Roses just wasn't as good of a game as Chivalry, and that's not even in the technical sense. A game at the end of the day is measured on how much fun it was, and Chivalry was just so much more fun than War of the Roses. The only thing War of the Roses really had over Chivalry was its customization, which now really isn't even a thing anymore, because Chivalry's customization has caught up quite a lot. So, the reason I want to tell you that is because a lot of you may look at War of the Vikings and see a reskinned, a Viking-skinned War of the Roses, and I want to dispel that myth straight away, because War of the Vikings is a step forward. Well, it's a unimaginable bounding leap forward, because it is a vastly superior game, and it is now 100% a game in its own right that deserves to stand separately from constant "this is just worse than Chivalry" comparisons, because War of the Vikings is actually rather fun. That said, there will be some Chivalry comparisons when I talk about the specifics of gameplay, because that's just inevitable, but what I want you to take away from this bit is that War of the Vikings is its own beast, and your opinion of it should not be coloured by your opinion of War of the Roses. That said, War of the Roses is still supported, and it still has a strong community. A lot of you watching this may enjoy it. It is simply my opinion that it just doesn't have that spark for me, so there we go. Alright guys, let's go on to the specifics of War of the Vikings. So we return to the main menu for the informatorial part of the lecture. Lock the doors, and we are going to start by looking at customization, because that is one thing War of the Roses is stellar in. Now, this is actually a good example of why War of the Vikings is such a superior game, in my opinion. They've taken what worked well in War of the Roses, streamlined it and continued it forward, taken what hadn't worked quite well, and vastly changed and improved it. I imagine War of the Vikings is much closer to their actual ideal vision for War of the Roses. They've just been able to get a lot closer and realize it a lot more this time, and it really does show. In fact, I know that to be quite the case from talking to the War of the Vikings developers in January. So, customization. You've got your free classes, which is your warrior, champion, and skirmisher. I'll be going over those in a game, but as far as what you can specifically do, you can change the default class that you want to play as. Your champion is your heavy-hitting, two-handed guy. Your warrior is your kind of agile, jack-of-all-trades, as you can see by the perk, shield, one-handed type dude, and your skirmisher is your archer, who enjoys ruining people's nice melee fights. Now, you've got various types of weaponry. You've got your swords, you've got your axes, you've got your bows, you got your spears, your basic stuff that you'd find. It's all quite authentic, and that is one thing this game does have going for it. Everything feels kind of Viking-y. They have really done their research. Everything is as it actually would be in that time period, from the environments to the weapons you can use, to the characters themselves, even down to the voice acting and what's been going on audio-wise in-game. It's really quite a cool experience in that regard. So if I was to edit a skirmisher, which is indeed my favourite class, because as we all know, I am Master Robin Hood Archer Scumbag Professional, it literally says that on my business card. It's quite a long, lengthy card, I'll admit. Now, you have your helmets, and you can upgrade to look cooler. None of these have any practical effect on gameplay. They are all just to make you look like a badass. The purpose behind these is to see someone who, for example, has a cloak, which you unlock quite late into the game, level 30, or someone who has a hood, and you think, oh my god, they're quite a badass. They've played a lot, they must be quite good. Look at them in their badass Robin Hood attire, and that is quite a cool thing to aspire to. Games like this, I always maintain, need that kind of, in like 20 hours of gameplay, if I get really good, I'm gonna look like a freaking badass and people are gonna fear me type aspiration, because it gives a good drive behind the already fun gameplay, and it does work rather well. Apart from that, you've got your perk system, which I'm not gonna go through each one, but you've got various ways of customizing your gameplay, such as running faster when chasing someone who's being a little bitch. Awesome! And then if we go to the champion, you've got your various things, as you can see. I'm not gonna go for each individual weapon, you can try them all out. They each have their own styles and attacks and special attacks. I'll talk about special attacks in game, and you can really come up with a style of fighting that really suits you. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the meat of the game, the hacking of limbs and the slaying of Saxons, because Vikings for life! You have 4 game modes. Your arena is your small scale, team play focused. If you're dead, you are dead. Respawn at the end of the round. First team to win X number of rounds. Conquest is your point capture. I kind of hate point capture in any game, MMOs, FPS, this type of thing. It just doesn't do anything for me, though I will admit in this game it does flow rather nicely. It works like, for example, the Vikings raiding a Saxon town, and it kind of flows like the invasion would. Pitched battle is a much larger scale arena, a lot more chaotic, as pitched battle would imply, and then the mode that I'm going to be playing to show you what is up is Team Deathmatch. Team Deathmatch is your classic respawning, kill, 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 reach the score limit, and then you are the winning team. So here we are in game, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I have to select the terrible, scummy Saxons. I'll be gentle, my Viking friends. And then you select a squad, which is for the purposes of team coordination, but in a random-filled team deathmatch, it really doesn't happen. So I'm going to be part of the Red Wolves, because they are my homies. And then we will be selecting a class. You've got your custom slots, you've got the defaults. I'm, of course, going to go with my skirmisher, aka Scumbag Supreme. Now, the first thing that you will notice once you get in-game is that the maps themselves look rather beautiful. In fact, just looking over there, you see the longship in the distance, the sun, the gleaming off the water. It does all look very, very nice. In fact, aesthetically, it really blows Chivalry out the water in terms of how the maps look. They just are so authentic and just, I don't know what it is, they're just nice to be in. I mean, you can see from yourselves, they're not perfect by any stretch of the means, stretch of the imagination, and by any means, any stretch of the means, TM, Rage Gaming, but they are perfectly serviceable, and they do look fine. I mean, they have tongs, guys. There is Viking tongs here. I mean, do you need another reason to play this game? You can come and look at authentic Viking tools. I want to meet the man who had to model Viking tongs in whatever 3D modeling package they use at the Fat Shack development and shake him by the hand, because they are some quality tongs. Okay, so to the actual fighting and killing of people. You probably want to see that quite a bit more than Viking tongs. Shut up! I appreciate things. Okay, so as we can see, the battle is raging all around me. I'm going to start shooting at people and just generally play for a while. The melee and bows themselves work like you can see. Oh ho ho! And then if we finish him off on the ground, yes, with a nice headshot. Oh, is he bandaging over there? Oh, he got it off. Damn! I was going to ruin his day so bad. So the melee and bows, as I was saying, works the same. Once you start charging up your shot or charging up your actual weapon attack, unfortunately I just got sniped by a couple guys there, it happens, the bar slowly raises, and once it reaches the top, it slowly comes back down. Now, this slight change is probably the core reason why this game instantly feels so much better than War of the Roses. The reason is, in War of the Roses, people walked around like this, just holding attacks and waiting to come into contact with an enemy. Now, is it just me, or does this really look wrong? It breaks the sort of immersion, the fluid feel of actual combat, that there's people walking around just like, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, because that would not happen in a real battle. It's terribly unrealistic, and it just really bugs me and takes me out of it. And the fact that in War of the Vikings, it slowly charges down, so you're actually at a disadvantage if you keep holding attacks, just makes everything flow so much nicer. You still have a bit of that stilted, awkward holding that you get from the combat system working this way and the animations, but it is vastly superior, and it makes a very, very big difference. Now, I realize, guys, I do suck at the game quite a lot because I am very rusty, so please forgive my newbie gameplay and mistakes. Just focus on my voice. At least I killed him because he was standing still. Yay! So yes, that is how that works. You've got your dodging in various directions. I have a perk which lets me attack while dodging, which is rather cool. And you've got your sprinting. Now, the sprinting brings up another point, is that the animations in this game are really quite good for the most part. The stuff like the sword attack is just okay. It feels kind of unimpactful, if you get me, and stuff like this is kind of neat to be able to break your way through parts of the environment, although it's going to be a while before I get through it at this stage. It takes quite a few people. There we go, I did it in the end, yay! But stuff like the sprinting and the dodging, it all feels very weighty, and the power attacks themselves, that is really like, oh, yes! And I think the reason is because when you do a power attack, you are kind of rooted to the floor, so it has to play out and give a more meaty animation, whereas when you're running around like this, it does feel a lot sort of less impactful, more like you're slapping your opponent with a wet fish rather than a sword. But maybe that's just me. It certainly isn't bad. It doesn't take me out of it that much, but there is a slight discrepancy in the animations. They range from badass and awesome, like the sprinting, which I just absolutely love, to kind of just, it kind of works, to the slashing of the weapons. Alright, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And what I love about the special attacks in this game is they add a really neat layer of strategy to the game, because they are really powerful, as you might imply from them being power attacks, but you are incredibly vulnerable if you miss. You are basically a sitting duck, and you are going to die if your opponent is at all good from missing a power attack, and that adds a really nice dynamic to the actual combat. Okay, if I just get my bow out, I'll just fire at these guys before they get to me. Damn, I am jealous of your cape. They're so flowy and awesome and full of cloth physics. It's just so good. Ah, yes, indeed. But yes, this game just generally is so much more fun than War of the Roses, and the fact that it's Vikings just help with that, because everyone likes a bit of Viking. Now, I am in a down state right now, which is, if you don't know War of the Roses, that's how it works once you die. You don't fully die unless you get majorly overkilled. You go into a down state where your allies can come over and revive you, and your enemies need to come over and fully finish you off in order to, okay, not sure that was me, but I'm not going to complain, and your enemies need to finish you off before you are fully counted as dead. And that's neat, because in modes like Pitch Battle and Arena, where there is permadeath, being revived and not letting someone finish off your ally is a key component, because it keeps more players in the game and you're more likely to win. Alright, Sir Lance, come on, I believe in you. Well done, Sir Lance, you cleave that guy in twain. I do love a bit of cleaving in twain. It's so twaining. Twaining, new word, Rage Gaming. I don't really know what it means, but still. Huh! Oh, I didn't fire. I am really good at firing by not firing. It's a strategy known as the fake out arrow, and it makes people reach for the sky. I don't really know why I went Woody there. I kind of thought Toy Story for some reason. I don't know what about Vikings fighting Saxons make me. Oh, I just got a headshot there. Oh, I love firing into a crowd of people and getting a headshot. Oh, I just killed a friend there. I like panicked, saw someone in front of me, and just shot him, and it was my friend. No, I missed! This is perfectly a good example there. As you can see, missing a power attack leaves you very vulnerable to death. Also, sucking leaves you very vulnerable to death, so I am double vulnerable to death here. Yes, indeed. So, another point I want to say, which has just been reminded of me by that little cluster that happened over there, actual clustering of opponents when everyone is in a big death ball just swinging at each other, it's very that kind of noise, because you just get accidentally killed, people hit your allies, everyone just kind of dies and takes loads of damage. There's no real elegance to it, which I kind of get and kind of like, simply because in a real battle there is no elegance to a big death ball. It is brutal, it is horrific, it is not somewhere you want to be, and you are going to die to friend and foe alike. But from a gameplay standpoint, because after all this is a game and we're trying to have fun, it's not really that fun to walk into a death ball with your allies and just get casually slaughtered offhandedly from no real direction or from no skilled actions of your... Damn it, that was a good spear. That was a good spear from your opponents. But the thing is, that's just as big of a problem in Chivalry. People running to Chivalry, swinging left and right, cleaving ranks asunder. It's really kind of unavoidable in a game like this. How do you fix people running into a big ball of enemies and just swinging wildly? It's just, it has to exist for a game like this to exist. It's such a difficult thing to fix. So it's kind of, you just have to deal with it in games like this, and it is quite prevalent in War of the Vikings. It's not as prevalent in Chivalry, because Chivalry has a lot more cleaving, large weapons, swinging round and round potential than War of the Vikings. The actual attacks are a lot more measured in War of the Vikings than they are in Chivalry, so it does happen less, but you do get your death ball clusterfucks, as you might imagine. Now here we go, we have the coins. And you earn coins from winning a game, from your first wins per day, various bonuses like that, and you generally earn coins per playing, per time played. Every minute, for example, gives you an amount of coins. And what's cool is there a renown system. The renown system works every, X amount of time that you play, you build up a renown level. Renown increases the gold that you earn by 10%, I believe, and that keeps building and building and building and building for the longer you play, and if you stop playing, it resets your renown, and you have to start again. So it's a good incentive to keep playing. For example, I am renown free right now, which is, there you go, it's based, in fact, it might be based on XP rather than time. All I know is that from continued playing, you gain renown, which makes you earn more gold. That's all you really need to take away, okay? Who cares about the specifics? Not me. Only the coders, really, and who cares about coders, the monkeys? I'm sorry if you're a coder and you heard that, but I had to somehow get myself out of that awkward situation I put myself in, and I thought offending people would be the way to do it. Yes. So this map right here, as you can see, is a much more smaller map in scale, which makes it rather more difficult for me as a bow user, but I do relish the challenge. Yes, indeed. Now, XP works quite well, actually. You get XP for literally everything, from reviving an ally, from doing damage, to finishing off an enemy. Ooh, he got axed in the face there. Awesome. And he's also going to get axed in the face. Damn it, I want to put an arrow in him so bad. Did you just... Oh, it was an enemy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Maximus. I appreciate your help there. I was going to get killed really quite badly. But yes, you get XP for literally everything, slowly build up levels to unlock various customization items, which you can buy with gold. So it's all gated and flows rather as you would expect. Now, another thing that bugs me, and this is really just a personal preference, is that I dislike damage numbers in a game like this. We're supposed to be realistically slaughtering each other, and seeing 42 when I hit someone with a sword, I don't know. That just kinda... I always dislike that in War of the Roses as well. I don't know why it's a thing that I need to see damage numbers. I don't need to care about damage numbers. All I need to know is I'm gonna hit you till you fall down dead. And, it just... I don't know. Even if you can turn them off, which you very well might be able to, I'm pretty sure you could turn them off in War of the Roses. In fairness, I haven't checked in War of the Vikings, but it's just, you know, menu perusing. Who cares about menu perusing? It's not really a valid argument to them existing. If you're like, oh, it's fine, you can just turn them off, because that inherently disadvantages you compared to everyone else, and that's not how it works. If you're at all a little bit competitive, even if something bugs you, you're going to leave it on to not deliberately handicap yourself against your opponents. So, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, you've pretty much heard how everything flows and functions in this game. The combat is all a lot more fluid and visceral than it was in War of the Roses, and because of that, it's a lot more fun. They've tightened everything up, from the animations to the actual mechanics and how everything feels while fighting. The only other complaint I have that's a little bit... I don't know if it's latency or the servers, but every now and then your sword kind of phases through people when clearly you have hit them, and it just doesn't, especially with arrows. As an archer who is... Damn, he died just as I got to him to revive him, that sucks. As an archer who is quite a dedicated archer, hitting people who are moving, it could just be that I suck. I will admit it just could be because I suck, but a lot of the time I get this, that clearly hit that guy. The arrow just passed through him. What the hell? well. That happens way too often for it to just be me having terrible, terrible aim. And it does happen a lot with melee weapons, and with melee it's a lot easier to see that, yeah, you really did hit that guy, what's going on. So it could very well just be servers and latency. I'm sure stuff like that will get ironed out as time goes on. Yes, I think I am done here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to play for a little bit longer. Yes, indeed. Kill some more Vikings. Unfortunately, I wish I was a Viking and not a stupid Saxon. But that's okay. Get my melee weapon out, slash him, and no, get hit by my allies. And a neat thing to not encourage team killing is that if you kill a teammate, you lose experience for every hit you do on a teammate. It's not a massive amount, but it's just, you know, enough to actively encourage you not to be a dickhead. Oh god, okay, alright. I have the power. My power got taken away rather quickly. There was no way I was going to win a 1v3 as a skirmisher. That stuff just kind of doesn't happen in this game. It's very difficult to be a hero in a game like this. You can't just slaughter your way through 10 opponents if you're the last guy left. I mean, technically you can. There are people who are fantastic at this game, which make people look terrible dancing around them, but it's a lot harder to get to that stage than it is in, for example, Chivalry. It makes me shudder a little every time I compare it to Chivalry after talking about how this game is really good in its own right and doesn't need those comparisons. It's just so helpful because everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say Chivalry. It's such a useful comparison. Oh, woe is life. Oh god, I just realized I didn't have my sword out. I'm running at him with my bow. I'm gonna get you. Ha, I got you. It's what you get. You just be near me and you die, bitch. Yeah, take it. Take it. Ah, owned him. One thing I don't understand is why there is no like proper finishers. Instead of the animation in War of the Roses where you like jump on someone and stab them through their helmet and it's like, oh, bloody, you just have to slash at them awkwardly while they're on the ground. It does make for faster gameplay and less sort of locked into animation wise, and I can understand the design decision behind it, but I did like the brutality of that because this game is a lot less brutal than Chivalry because it doesn't have the limb hacking, the blood going everywhere. Well, there is a fair amount of blood, but it is a lot less on the brutal scale than Chivalry, and I don't know if that's good or bad for you. Again, that's just personal preference, but there you have it. And honestly, I know I realize I'm saying this for the third time, that honestly I've told you everything, and then I keep thinking of more things to tell you, but I like to talk about stuff. You may have noticed I'm quite good at talking. I say good at talking, that's really relative. It could also be terrible at talking, depending on how much you like to be talked at, and whether you've understood anything I said. So honestly, I take everything back. I'm not gonna go be an ostrich. That would be weird if I like go to my cupboard and pull out like an ostrich uniform and just like flap. Do ostriches don't say flap though. They kind of just go, ah! They don't go rah, really. They kind of screech. They're evil, they're ostriches. Like, they hurt people. Like, you can really piss off. You don't want to piss off an ostrich. They'll really own you. It's why people are scared of me when I'm an ostrich. I'm sure it's not because they think I'm an insane guy in an ostrich outfit and they're wondering what the fuck is wrong with me. I'm sure completely that is why. What was I talking about? Vikings! Yes! Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. It is a lot more fun. It is worth checking out if you are into the melee combat scene, especially if you have grown tired of Chivalry, but even if you haven't, it is really, really worth playing, much more than, in my opinion, War of the Roses, and you can get it on Steam for, I believe, around the £20 mark, if I recall correctly. There's various versions you can buy, which come with various bonuses, all the way up to a really expensive, like, Valhalla edition, which comes with a lot of cool stuff, and you have quite a few options that way, which is rather neat, I have to say. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, there you go, War of the Vikings. I really, surprisingly, and it is surprisingly, because I really didn't expect to enjoy this game, really do like it so far, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's a nice, refreshing change of pace from the other melee combat games that I've played, to not name specific names. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't help it. I just played so much Chivalry, it's in my brain right now. Oh my god. But yes, really good fun. The premium Viking and Saxon killing simulator. And done. I hate ending these things. I just want to keep playing and keep saying things and keep making the words happen. And this Aldi guy is, what a prick. Oh god, run away. As you probably saw earlier, there is a thing that if you're chasing someone who's running after a while, oh my god, what a shot. not. Fair enough. After a while, you can tackle them to the ground, and at that point, they're pretty much dead, because they'll kill you while you're getting up, which, again, that is good, because it forces melee fights to continue, and there's less of the whole, I'm going to run away for ages until I'm ready again, and there's nothing you can do about it, which happens in other melee medieval combat shit. It happens in Chivalry. Why am I even trying at this point, honestly? And there you go. Good, I'm done. I'm gonna stop saying stuff now. I recommend it. I'm having a lot of fun. War of the Vikings, done. I'm done. I don't care anymore. I just want to die. I don't want to die, really. That's awkward. I'm about to die, actually. This is, oh! I don't even care that I died there. That slashed through them where I killed them both. I didn't kill them both, but I damaged them both. That's the best thing I've done in this game. Oh, man, I'm so bad and I'm sorry. But yes, my name has been Rage. This has been War of the Vikings. I will see you next time. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Oh, goodbye.